Hey, Miami sports fans. Stop by Caneswear today at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, Florida. And check out their awesome merchandise selection of your favorite South Florida sports teams. From the Miami Dolphins, Hurricanes, Heat, Marlins, Florida Panthers, and Inter Miami, they've got it all. Celebrate your favorite team and show off your fandom with their beautiful team starter jackets, killer-looking helmets, team jerseys, cool shirts, and more. And if you're out of town or out of state, no worries. Go to Caneswear.com and find everything they have on their site. Select what you want, and they will ship your gear to you. Anything over $99 is shipped for free. Don't wait. Stop at Caneswear today.
It's back. The green train is running. Bobby, sometimes you're right, sometimes you're wrong.
He's always wrong.
Good morning, good evening, or good afternoon, depending on where you are and what you're doing. Either way, today's win day for the Miami Dolphins. And with me as a special guest today, we have my son, Evan.
What?
Evan, I'm so glad you're here to support me, my friend.
Always. I will never miss an episode of Fin's Talk Today, whether I'm here with you, with Bobby, or in the comments. No matter what, I will always be here.
Now, I have a little bit of a flat tire, even though we're not in the bandwagon. I have a little bit of a flat tire. I have a little bit of a cold going on, and fins up, everybody.
But I know why you have a cold. You have
a
cold because you need to know what it's going to feel like to be a Miami Dolphin player. They're going to be cold, and you have a cold. See?
Hey, something had to be there for that, and I'm so glad I had you here to explain it to me. Because obviously I can't figure anything out right at this point in time.
It's all good.
But anyway, how you been, Evan?
I'm doing okay. Honestly, we had a great show on Thursday night with you, myself, and Manny. I think that was a lot of fun. And it was just to get a different perspective, grade the regular season, prepare for today's shows. We're going to have a lot of stuff going on the Fin's Talk Sports Network. Keeping busy, sports stuff for my kids. And then last night, Doll and the group of Manny did some stuff on Dolphins Talk where we got a lot of plugs. Hank, your name was mentioned at least 7 or 8 times during the course of that show as I was watching it, because they kept on referring to what we were saying the night before, which was kind of cool.
I was wondering what I did.
No, they kept on referring to us. Like the name Fish Tank Hank appeared. I swear, Manny came out of his mouth at least 7 or 8 times. So he agreed with a lot of what you had to say, which was nice.
Hey, I'm like that sometimes. Sometimes I get, hey, Doll, fins up.
Thank you. Screaming kids. You have to. That's why, Doll, you have to take their mouth shut when you're doing podcasts.
Hey, I did it the simple way. I made mine graduate college and get out. So that was that.
I don't blame you. Yeah. Fish Tank's the host today, Ray. That's why I don't host Fin's Talk today.
No, yeah. FinStanza does not host. I'm a host over here. They let me do that every now and then. Yeah. So anyway, let's talk about the Dolphins.
Let's talk about the Dolphins.
Everybody's been saying frauds, and it's continued on for quite a while now. Miami had ranked number 1 in the NFL in total offense, averaging 29 points a game. However, the last 5 games, they've been 22 points a game and couldn't score over 20 points against Baltimore and Buffalo. Some people are calling the Dolphins frauds. Are the Dolphins frauds, or is the offense a fraud? What do you think, Evan?
I don't think the Dolphins are frauds. What I think is the team lacks cohesion in the sense that they, except for the Washington Commanders game, I don't think there was one game this season because I don't count the Jets game where we shut them out because the Jets were just nothing that game. It didn't matter what we did that game. But with except for the Commanders game where you saw both sides of the ball play a significant role, the Dolphins are a lot of flash, but missing a little bit of substance in this season, meaning that they beat the teams they were supposed to beat. And the games at the beginning of the season, in the middle of the season, where they were playing great teams, they shot themselves in the foot by getting off to either a slow start or throwing key turnovers or dropping the footballs at key moments. But I just think this team just lacks a bit of cohesion, and that's what ended up faltering, is the sense that there was a lack of unity. So what I've said throughout the course of the season, and which was talked about a little bit on Thursday when I asked you, was the lack of fire. So when the Dolphins get down, they don't have this ability when the times are tough to band together on both sides of the ball and get back into it. So the prime example, Hank, was the Baltimore game. Is that even though we had an 8-point lead and we were down 8 points, 2 minutes, we threw the ball through an interception, but we could have kept that game close. Then we're down by 2 scores. Zach Sealer gets a touch, does his job, and then Tua gives the ball away. So we're never complimenting. The one thing about the Miami Dolphins this year on 3 sides of the ball, except for one game, which was the Commanders game, there's a lack of complimenting each other and supporting each other in the sense that, and so for me, there's that lack of fire and that lack of passion to help each other out. It's either the defense does its job and the offense pooches the bed, or if both sides do the ball, then the special teams screw something up. There's been a lack of cohesion on this football team over the last 2 football seasons when it matters most.
Absolutely. I don't know so much about the fire. I think a lot of people have the fire in their stomach and they want these wins. I can't judge their feelings. I can't judge that. I can't say what they're feeling. I know if it was me and I was on the Dolphins, those losses would have come so freaking hard for me, because those were some tough losses. I mean, some of them, like you said, we had the lead, and then it turns around and falls flat on us, throw an interception, turn the ball over, defense falling apart and people just running up and down the field. There's been quite a few things, but what you said was key to all of this. You call it cohesion.
What's upset, Joe?
You call it cohesion, and I say they're not playing a complete game on all 3 phases.
Yeah,
which is pretty close to the same darn thing.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't think that they've been playing complete games other than fins up, Chef. Fins up 72. But I do believe.
What's up, J-Boy?
Well, we got a lot of people today saying hello.
Yeah. New people.
Up,
a lot of new people, which is great.
Yeah.
Aladino and Ray, we're used to the Thirsty, whatever. Thirsty is trolling me, Hank.
I love Thirsty.
Did you see what he did on Thursday? I'm driving him crazy because on Thursday I wrote that the best thing that Tua's done and will do is the fact that he's 6-0 against the GOAT. And he has been driving me crazy because how dare I say that Belichick's the GOAT, Don Shula's the GOAT. And I keep refusing to answer that, so he's coming after me.
Oh, you shouldn't have stirred the pot up.
It's my troll. What do you want from me? He's... Anyways, yeah. No, a lot of great people.
Anyway, so like you said, they haven't been there hasn't been that cohesion or that complete game style, other than a couple games. Yeah, we had a couple games where we went in and beat people up and blew them out. But those were teams that were not very good to begin with. No. All right. So now, what do you think about well, let's move on. Mm-hmm. I don't think they're frauds. I think they're going to show a lot of people today what they're made of. Win, lose, or draw, I'm a Dolphins fan no matter what.
By the big news, I haven't heard much about it, but Thursday has just announced that the Bills game, because of the amount of snow, got moved to Monday. It has nothing to do with the cold. It has to do with the snow. They actually, Hank, I don't know if you saw this, they posted the Bills because of the amount of snow they're supposed to get. They were posting that if you want to come, they'll pay you $20 an hour to come shovel snow throughout the night to get the stadium ready. So they'll pay you. So let's say you work 10 hours, you'll make $200 cash, and you get food, and you get a warm place to take breaks if you go shovel. But I guess they believe that it's just not safe for them to play.
Yeah.
But they won't do that for the Dolphins, God forbid. Let them freeze.
Fins up back.
What's up, Wildcat? Hammer time's here.
What's good, OG?
Yeah.
Wow, I'm gonna.
NFL's catering. Yep, NFL's catering to the Bills. That's true.
NFL's catering to the Bills. Yeah, they catered to them a couple times.
Yeah, they move their games.
As a matter of fact.
No, you know what they should be doing? They shouldn't be moving the game to Monday. They should be moving the game to a neutral stadium and just play the game when you're supposed to play.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. So.
Talk to me, Junior. Talk to me. I'm looking something up.
Okay. So for me, about the whole fraudulent thing, and I don't know what people are thinking, I wrote this down here. McD's last chance. I know Chris Greer's not firing Mike McDaniel, no matter what happens, even if they get destroyed today. Only Ross can get to the point where he's so frustrated that he might can both. But to me, Mike McDaniel is on his hot seat, meaning that he doesn't get another kick at the can. Meaning that if he loses today, next year he's 3 and out. It's like in football, 3 and out. He doesn't get a 4th down. He can't go for it on 4th. I want sustainability. I want Mike McDaniel to succeed. What I'm frustrated about is he is not accounting for the fact that we saw this last year. Like I have recency bias. I had recency bias in the Chargers game, then I had recency bias in the Bills game, then I had recency bias in the Bills game again. I had recency bias in the Chiefs game. I had recency bias in the Eagles game. I had recency bias in the Titans game. Now I have recency bias in the. He keeps on giving me a reason not to trust him. I want him to prove me wrong tonight and do what we all expect he needs to do.
Run.
Hank, easy trivia question for you. Which team average yards per carry this season was number 1 in the NFL? Can I give you a guess? Huh? Miami. Do you know that Devon Achane averaged 8 yards per carry as a rookie? Is that bananas or what? 8
I do know
yards
this from
per carry.
I do know this from watching. When we were running, it was really, really good.
How good was the running last week when it worked? It worked all game.
It was working. However, when we get behind, we have to abandon it. Yeah. And that's what's been happening. The defense has been letting the points come in, and then we get behind, and then he abandons the run, which is horrible. But I understand some of his thinking, but at the same time, he's making some decisions that I question right along with you. I can't not question that.
Yeah. Because the one thing I will, because I just want to mention one thing to you. There was a game where the Patriots years ago. I don't know if you remember that game. It was a very windy game in Buffalo. They won the game 6-3. The Patriots won, and they beat Josh Allen. You want to know what they did on the first 24? 24.
I thought they ran it the whole game.
They ran it 24 consecutive times. I think Mac Jones had 6 passes the entire game. He attempted 6 passes, and they won the football game. Because this is the kind of game, Hank, it's not about proving that you can win in the playoffs. It's not about putting a statement. It's getting out of there with a win. This is going to be a treacherous game for both sides. It's about stealing a win. It's about stealing a win. That's what it's about. That's all I care. I don't care what the score is. Steal a win.
Well, let's talk about McD.
Yeah.
Chris Perkins of the Sun Sentinel reported that if Mike McDaniel loses on Wild Card Weekend, he could be on the hot seat next season. What do you think about that?
I would put him on the hot seat tomorrow. So if we lose 17-16,
yeah,
fine. If we lose by 3 touchdowns or 2 touchdowns, and it's a dominating effort where you, myself, and the whole FinStanza Sports Network, Neil Cordero, who bundled up and went to his first playoff game today.
There are a lot of Dolphins fans.
Yeah. Do you know people were lined up at 5:30 this morning?
They are going to be braving that brutal weather. I mean,
Hank,
man, my hat's off My hat's off.
We could go there for $40 right now. I could get a ticket in the 100 section for $40 US.
Yeah, I can't afford to go there.
No, it's not even that. For me, it's about the flights, right? The flight's the problem. It's not the tickets to the game. It's the flight. The flights.
Yeah, the flights are.
And there's no direct flights. There's no direct flights to Kansas City from where we are. So it's like a long day. $35, even crazy Anthony. So for me, Mike McDaniel. Okay.
Yeah.
I always told people Mike McDaniel could be my best friend. I would shoot the crap with him all the time. I think he's a great player's coach. He's yet to prove to me, he's never proven to me that he wins when it matters in a game where the Dolphins need a victory. Because, and I personally think he's been a positive on Tua and a negative on Tua. Because Tua feels carte blanche. Number one, Tua has improved as a quarterback because he's developed Tua. But he's also hurt Tua in the sense that Tua feels no fear, no accountability, no punishment if he screws up, because Mike McDaniel coddles Tua. He lets him do what he wants. Like that throw would have him ripped out. Like any other coach would rip him. He will coddle him and take responsibility for him. So if Mike McDaniel is a young coach, for me, I made this joke last night on the podcast when I was commenting. If they lose poorly tonight and he gets away from the run game for the rest of the offseason, his new name to me is Mike Gase. And the reason why I'm going to call him Mike Gase is because I believe he's a brilliant designer of plays. But when you want, Andy Reid's been coaching forever, okay? Mike McCarthy, I'm not a fan, has been coaching forever. Sean McVay has a Super Bowl, so it's worked. Kyle Shanahan has gone deep in the playoffs. It works for him. Mike McDaniel looks too distracted by the offensive play calls that in between when people make mistakes or come off the field, he can't go deal with his players and talk to his line and talk. In the end, he's distracted by his play calling, and for me, that has been my frustration with him at the most. That's why he struggles with the challenges. That's why he struggles with the time management, because he's distracted with his play calling. So for me, if he loses today in a close game, I give him another season. If they get embarrassed and we go another season 2 times, we get in the playoffs twice, and we lose badly today, I personally would clean house if they lose badly today, because this was a season, Hank, where the window was wide open. Buffalo was behind. The Jets didn't have Aaron Rodgers. The Patriots going into Baltimore, you had the chance to get the number 1 seed. The Titans game, you would have already cleared the game last week wouldn't have mattered had you beat Tennessee with 3 minutes left.
Let me ask you this, Evan.
Yeah.
You have a head coach that goes for it on 4th down. And I mean, he goes for it a lot.
Not like the Lions,
we wouldn't have won some of the games we won if he didn't go for it on a crazy 4th down try. So, I mean, I believe he's trying to win is what I'm trying to say. I believe he's trying to win. Now, he's only a second-year head coach. I mean, I don't know any second-year head coach that completely turned a team around.
I'll disagree only on this one point. When people try to compare Brian Flores' 2 years of going 9-8 and then the 5-11 season, his left tackle was Jesse Davis. His best wide receiver was Devontae Parker. His best running back was Myles Gaskin.
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, his best guy was X, and then a Byron Jones who was busy selling cars with an injury. So Mike McDaniel in the last 2 years has been given Teron Armstead, Connor Williams, an improved Jalen Waddle, Tyreek Hill, Jalen Ramsey, David Long, Bradley Chubb, an improved Jalen Phillips. For me, my frustration with Mike McDaniel is that he has the talent on his roster as on paper, probably top 3 in the NFL with individual talent. He has a top 3 corner. He has a top 1 wide receiver. He probably has a top D-line, if you include Phillips and Chubb when they were healthy, probably a top 10 D-line. Like, you have people claim Javon Holland was the best safety, one of the top 2-3 safeties in the NFL. So there's no excuse for what he had. And going into the season, when you have 28 touchdowns coming from A-Chain and Mostert, and you're struggling and falling out of the playoffs, that's a lack of accountability on the coach. So he's gotten to the playoffs twice. Great, fantastic. But no one believes in the Dolphins yet. Even us, we might believe as fans that we believe we can win, but at the same time, there's no narrative in the NFL. We were expected to do way more. When you look at top 5, top 10 power rankings, we were in there most of the season, and in December we faltered again. So for me, Mike McDaniel is the face of the franchise. So for me, more than Tua, more than Tyreek Hill, people talk about him, what he wears, his shoes, his engaging personality. What angered me, and I'll tell you this right now, him finally getting pissed after the Buffalo game, and Tua finally saying the comment, like I said on Thursday, that they're exactly where they need to be after losing by 37. Those are the kind of comments for me that frustrate me about supposed to be our two most powerful people on our team, our quarterback and our head coach. They should have been feeling like this after the Tennessee game, not after the Buffalo or Baltimore game.
All right. Well, with that said, let's talk a little bit about Tua then, shall we?
Yep.
Tua had a phenomenal start to the season and even has ended the season as the passing leader in yards. But after seeing how he finished and has looked against his peers, Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson, what is your judgment on Tua as a franchise quarterback?
He is, right now to me, he's having the kind of season that Ryan Tannehill had a couple of years ago when he had his 4,000-yard season. He was in the MVP conversation and then threw it in the garbage, starting with the Tennessee game. That is when his downfall took place. He's not a franchise quarterback yet. He is a quarterback. Okay. Is he a top 15 quarterback? Absolutely. Is he possibly a top 10 quarterback in this league? Probably. Is he a franchise quarterback? No, because I think in this league right now, there's only about 5 franchise quarterbacks in this league that have proven that they are franchise quarterbacks. I need him to be Chad Pennington. That's all I want from him today. If he's Chad Pennington today, he does not lose us the football game, I will be the first one on the post-game show to say he's earned the right to be a franchise quarterback on this team. If he screws up today and costs us the football game, he will never convince me. Because the reason why people said tank for Tua and why he was a top 5 pick is what he did at Alabama. And if Waddle's playing today, and Mostert's playing today, and Achan's playing today, and Tyreek Hill's playing today, you have enough weapons, even if you're jet sweeping and handing it off and quick little slants and all that, where you could win this football game with the talent that you have. Go watch the second half of the Kansas City game. If they run the ball and play like that, they're going to win this football game. Tua has to not, because I want to congratulate him on playing 17 games. Congratulations. I'm very proud of the fact that he stayed healthy and did what he said he was going to do.
Yeah.
But now you have to prove you're a top 5 quarterback. Why? Because Joe Burrow's done it. Josh Allen's done it. He's on a top 5. Herbert hasn't done it yet, so I don't. Herbert's a phenomenal talent, but Herbert hasn't proved anything to me yet either. But if you want to be in that upper echelon of quarterbacks, like after today, if CJ Stroud wins against the top defense in the league in the Browns, and Tua loses, CJ Stroud is going to be known as a better quarterback than Tua after 1 year of being in the league. Because it's all about what you've done for me lately, Hank.
Yeah.
We love Tua. We think he's a great quarterback, but he's not elite. He could be elite. The problem is that he's afraid. I think he's afraid to be elite. He's afraid to take a chance. He's doing what he thinks he's supposed to do. He's playing Russian roulette with the football. That last throw, to me, is still etched in my brain. When he let go of that football on second down into double coverage with Tyreek off the field, I go, he's about to throw an interception. I knew it. I just knew what he was about to do. Because who was he throwing to? There was no one on the field that was capable of making that catch. No wide receiver. So right now, I go to you. For me, I don't care what the weather is. I live in this kind of weather. I live in this. People play sports in this weather. It is what it is.
Yeah.
The Dolphins have no excuses. Tua has to prove with Mike McDaniel that they are a dynamic duo tonight.
Here's my thought on. Go ahead.
No, not by the way. I want us to win, Hank, and I think you're going to agree with me on this. Mike, we have to win in spite of Mike McDaniel and in spite of
Tua.
The other members of this team, which is Vic Fangio and Eric Studsville, those are the guys who have to be the stars. It has to be Sealer, it has to be Wilkins, it has to be Ramsey, and it has to be Achane, and it has to be Mostert. Those are the guys I want to see star. And Brandon Jones. I want the key safety in Brandon Jones because Holland won't be there. The key corner in Jalen Ramsey, Wilkins and Sealer, who do well in these types of games. If you remember the Buffalo game last year, we were not singing that game without Sealer and Wilkins. You remember that, right?
Yeah.
And the running game. Those are the keys for me.
All right. Did we discuss keys to victory yet?
Not yet at all.
Well, I'm a little different than you.
Okay, you're allowed to be.
And I don't think that McDaniel or Tua are going anywhere next year.
I don't think they're going anywhere.
I don't think they're going anywhere next year. However, the year after that, if after next year they don't turn something around, the two of them together, they're both going to hit the street, in my opinion. I think because Mr. Ross is like that. He'll give him his third year where, 3 strikes and you're out. Because Mr. Ross is like that. And that's one thing I do like about Mr. Ross. He'll put the money up and he'll give people the chance.
There's one problem.
Hold on.
I know.
The only problem behind that is Mr. Ross sometimes drags his feet a little too long. But I don't think it's going to happen this time around because you got Jim Harbaugh out there.
That's my point.
You got all kinds of coaches out there right now that are worth picking up if he doesn't like McDaniel and wants to get rid of him. Now, is Jim Harbaugh going to go into the NFL this year for sure?
Yes.
Yes.
Because of the scandal. That's why I want to tell you. Here's the dilemma. Here's the prisoner's dilemma, Hank. Okay? If Tua and McDaniel don't perform well today, and Ross says, enough is enough, he knows this is his chance to get Harbaugh. Because Harbaugh will not be back at Michigan next year with the scandal. He's won his championship. He's done his job. Him and Garfinkel are Michigan alums. If he's not going to stay at Michigan, he'll want to nab him. The problem is, and why I think he may not do it, is because I always said this, Greer, McDaniel, and Tua are tied at the hip. So even if you get rid of Greer and McDaniel, is Jim Harbaugh going to come in and try to work with Tua? The problem is who else is out there? Because if you go look at the crop of quarterbacks that are out there in free agency, whether it's a Kirk Cousins or a Ryan, there isn't anybody out there. That's the hard part for me, Hank. There isn't a quarterback out there right
and we won't
now
get one.
That is
we won't
better
get one
unless you draft one and you move up in the draft. But there's no one out there right now in the free agency as a quarterback that might be better option next year than Tua.
There is nobody we can get that's better than Tua in the draft.
Or in
like
free
I
agency.
said, there's nobody better we can get. There's no way we're moving up to the number 1 spot and all this other garbage. That's the only way we'll get better quarterbacks than him. He's not elite. In my opinion, I've waited and everybody's had their say, all the pro Tuas and all the negative con Tuas. I got all of y'all. However, Tua plays good ball. Tua gets the ball out. But the problem's been the offensive line that nobody's looking at. See, that's why everything has to be timing. That's what McDaniel's been trying to do is hide that offensive line.
We have a first-round pick this year, Utah.
Huh?
We actually have a first-round pick this year.
Yeah, we're like 20-something, though.
No, it depends on where we fall. No. It depends on where we fall in the playoffs, right? The deeper we go in the playoffs, the later the pick is.
Yeah. But right now, we're like 24 or something like that.
No, well, how many teams are in the playoffs? Wait, there's 14 teams in the playoffs. So right now, it only starts in like the 20s. If we lose today and we're one of the worst teams that lose, we can end up with a 20th pick.
Yeah. I don't think that's going to happen.
The problem is that nobody on this team, the problem we have, Hank, and we'll talk about this postseason, is there's a lot of polarization on our team. And I thought this year was going to be the opportunity for all of us to unify as a fan base. And we were on that verge heading into the Tennessee game. Had the Tennessee game not happened, I think people would have adapted well. We would have won the division, even if and things would have gone a certain way. The fact that we fell out of that took away the sense of, oh, maybe we do believe in Chris Greer. Maybe we do believe in Mike McDaniel. That's my number one frustration after the regular season. Isn't the record. It's not McDaniel's performance. It's not Greer's performance. It's not Tua's performance. It's the fact that they took an opportunity and dolphined it and flushed it completely down the toilet. Okay? That's my frustration. They took something it's like literally having that lotto ticket, and then you're walking into the store to go cash your lotto ticket, and you trip over the sidewalk. The thing goes flying, lands into a sewer, and floats away. That's what the Miami Dolphins did with their season in the regular season.
Well, I'm not that hard on them. And I know what Mike McDaniel's been doing, and I don't think people give him enough credit with that offensive line.
That's Butch Barry. And Frank Smith.
Yeah, Butch Barry's there too.
Frank Smith.
I'm not taking anything away from anybody that's on the team coaching. I'm just saying he's the head coach, okay? And the fact that he's been trying to run this team with that offense, I mean, you name our starters.
Crazy.
You can't name our starters. Everybody's our starter.
On the offensive line?
Yeah.
What I also
come on.
No.
You tell me that Tua's getting the ball out in 2 seconds because our offensive line can hold back the defense? No, he's getting it out that quick because they have to. Because the offensive line sucks and nobody's looking at that. The offensive line is garbage.
No, we can't, Steve.
And if we don't fix it before next year, we're going to have the same exact problem we've had and we've been having for years.
Yeah. Of course I listen, Ray. Of course I listen. I told you.
No, you don't.
Ray?
Quiet, Junior. All right. Keys to victory. What are your 3 keys to victory, my son?
Run.
Don't say all 3.
No, I'm not saying run. Pressure. Run. Pressure. Do not let Mahomes get outside the pocket. Do not let him get outside the pocket. I'm just saying, and do not turn over the football. Like, I don't want to see one turnover.
You're asking for the impossible in that weather, you know.
No, I'm not. That means
that ball's gonna be like a freaking brick.
I understand that, but Tua, I'm not worried about the running back. The running back's fine. We just don't turn over the ball. Honestly, just do not turn over the ball.
I hear you. But that might be an impossibility.
Keep Mahomes in the pocket. Keep Mahomes in the pocket. Do not let him create, and no turnovers.
All right. Well, for me, the first key is the same key I said last week. We got to get the push up the middle. We don't have the defensive ends to get it done. Yeah, we brought a few people in. I got all that. But if you're really looking at it, we got people sitting on their couch, all right?
Yeah.
And Yeah, they might be able to make a couple plays in the game. However, they don't know the defense. There's a lot that they don't know. Kind of going into it with patchwork as far as rushing the quarterback. So we need to get that push up the middle once again from Zach Sealer and Christian Wilkins. The second thing is we've got to run the ball in the cold weather. You don't go in that kind of weather and throw the ball around and break the fingers of your wide receivers. It just isn't the greatest thing in the world to be doing. However, I'm sure with Tyreek Hill, they will pass the ball a bit because he does know how to play in this cold weather, and they will take advantage of that. So don't plan on it all being run, because if the wind is down, I see them throwing the ball around. Wind is down, they'll throw the ball around.
There's 27 mile per. There's 27 mile per hour winds. The ball's not going to be going very far.
Yeah, they're not going to be throwing it a lot. So, last key to victory is Mike McDaniel has to coach. He has to coach it up and get these players in the right position and call the right plays. He hasn't been calling the right plays on offense. We all agree on that. It should be heavy run and light pass, and we haven't done it. So, Evan, we're down to the final prediction here. Prediction and final score. I have a bit of a cold, folks, in case you didn't notice. So we're going to close this up pretty quick here. Prediction and final score, Evan.
I have to give it now. Oh, crap. It's hard.
Yeah, you're on the Fins Talk.
Okay, I know. I can't make it at 6:30. Honestly, because of my lack of trust, I have to pull a Malloy. I don't trust Mike McDaniel. I just don't. Until he proves me wrong, and then I will be the first one to admit it, I don't trust him. I just don't trust him. And I feel that he's not going to run the ball efficiently. He's going to get away from it because he's going to try to prove that Tyreek Hill can have his little revenge game. He won't care about the weather. He's going to try to prove that they're the greatest show on surf. I actually think the Miami Dolphins are not going to keep this game close. They're going to lose. And I believe this game is going to be 20-6 Kansas City.
20-6 Kansas City. Well, for me, my prediction is the Miami Dolphins are going to come out and turn things around.
No.
I see Miami going. I don't think it's going to be a huge scoring game unless running backs just start breaking loose and going down the field like crazy. So I would say Miami's going to win in this cold weather because I don't think Kansas City has
I want to be wrong.
Kansas City keeps falling apart, and I don't think that they're good enough to beat the Dolphins right now, to be honest with you. I don't care what weather and who's home stadium and all that. I don't care. I think the score is going to be 17-13 Miami.
I want to ask you a simple trivia question, Hank.
Yes, sir.
When's the last time the Dolphins won a game when it was below 40 degrees? How about the fact that tonight they're playing in a game where it's minus 35, not 40 degrees, minus 35. The Miami Dolphins in the cold, it's just what it is. They are lost. Now, I actually am happy there. I give them a better shot of winning in this frigid temperature than if they would have been at home against Buffalo. I think they would have lost that football game outright. They would have been underdogs outright. Today, I hope they win. I want to be wrong, but the one thing I want to be consistent about is my lack of trust in Mike McDaniel. I called it last week, and I was right. He was going to shoot himself in the foot, and he was going to look like a McDummy, and he looked like a McDummy. They put him on screen every play, and he looked like a moron because he looked shocked. He looked up. Like, for me, part of his problem and why I'm still angry with him is the whole Danny Crossman nonsense. The fact that he kept him around For what reason, I do not know. His special teams, because you're saying he's the head coach, his special teams has cost him significantly this season. Significantly. So for me, until he proves me wrong, I'd rather them be underdogs. Let them be underdogs. Let them prove me wrong. Because you want to know what? It will be more enjoyable for them to win today if I'm wrong than for me to say they're going to win and end up being right. Say they're going to win and end up being wrong there. So I rather people today come on the post-game show and make fun of FinStanza and tell me and Malloy and everyone that we were wrong. Like, here, Hank, I'll do this now. I have to get the Jason Sanders jersey. If the Dolphins win, what do I have to do?
You gotta get a tattoo of Jason Sanders on your butt.
I'm not allowed to get tattoos. I'm Jewish. I can't be buried in a Jewish cemetery. I'll be disowned by my parents.
You'll have to cut off your pinky finger.
That would hurt. No. Something Dolphins related. Do I have to write a letter to Mike McDaniel? I'll write a personal apology letter to Mike McDaniel.
You know what you'll do? You'll write a personal apology letter to everybody on the Fins Talk Sports Network on how wrong you were.
Do I have to and I'll get all your addresses and I'll mail it personally.
No, you DM us.
I'll DM you guys a personal letter that you guys can retweet to everybody. Have a good time.
All right.
Okay? But by the way, I'll have to send it to you.
All right. All right. So we're out of here, folks.
Are we?
Do you have anything else you'd like to say, FinStanza, before we jump out of here?
The only positive I'll take out of this is that if you have a cold, my son has a cold, maybe that's an omen to the cold weather. And I do hope that actually, can I ask you for your parlay? I don't think everyone ever heard before we go, because you're not going to be on the pregame show. Can I have the opportunity so everyone can hear or what your predictions are for this week's games? Because I don't think you've been.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go for it. Do you mind?
No, I don't mind.
Okay, so what do you think today? Cleveland versus the Texans.
Cleveland versus the Texans. I say Cleveland's got that one.
Okay. You have I'm not going to go in any particular. Okay, the Cowboys and the Packers.
Cowboys.
The Rams and the Lions.
Ooh, Lions.
The Bucks and the Eagles.
Eagles.
Even without AJ Brown?
Yep.
Wow. And the last, and then the Steel, and I know you have to do this for your friend, the Steelers and the Bills.
The Steelers are going to take it.
Good for you. See, now that's why he's my father. That's why he's my father.
Yeah, but you left out our game.
You already predicted the game. No, but honestly, Hank, I just want to say one final thing.
Yes, sir.
Today is is the most critical game for the Miami Dolphins, because if they win today, no other win, the Texans win, the Steelers winning, and no other game, no other upset this weekend will be bigger on the national spotlight narrative than the Miami Dolphins going in and beating the defending Super Bowl champions. They can kill so many birds with one stone. If they beat Kansas City, people are going to call them contenders again. Yeah, because they're going to be able to beat the Super Bowl defending champions. They beat Andy Reid. They beat Patrick Mahomes. They got over the cold weather thing. The narrative of the Miami Dolphins is going to, because not one person truly believes in their heart of hearts that this is that they have a chance. We may think they could win, but no one truly believes. Like, if they win this football game, we're all truly going to be shocked. I know this. No matter what we think the score is, you will be shocked if they win this football game. You're a homer. If they lose this football game, you will not be shocked. You will not be shocked if they lose this football game.
No. They will not lose this football game. They are going to win this football game. It's time to pull your panties up, put on your boots, and go in there and work hard. Now, this team has some talent left on it. Yeah, we're depleted, but we're just as good as Kansas City right now. I don't take nothing away from Miami Dolphins against Kansas City. Kansas City has lost, 4 of their last 6 or something like that? So I really don't care about Kansas City. They're not the big bully they normally are. And with the weather factor, that works for both teams. I was stationed in Cuba for 3.5 years. I used to go up north and go snow skiing. Hey, let me tell you, the cold doesn't bother you. You dress for it, and they're going to dress for it, and they're going to be ready just along with everybody else. Nowadays, they have that heat skin you can put on. There's all kinds of things you can do.
Vaseline also. Vaseline freezes your arm. I guarantee you, Tariq and Sealer already said they're going sleeveless. Because once you're cold, right? Because, by the way, I don't know if you know this. If you and I both take off our hats right now, okay?
We're bald.
If we both went outside in Kansas City, do you realize that you know why we'd be cold? If we went out right now and we went out literally in a t-shirt, okay? You and I both went outside and we were cold. Do you know what would warm us up faster? A coat or a hat? You know which one would do it?
Hat.
Because it all starts here. So if they're wearing their helmet and when they come to the sidelines, they're wearing hats, it doesn't matter what their arms are doing. It's all about up here. If they keep themselves warm up here, the rest will take care of itself.
Yep. All right, FinStanza.
Don't forget.
Thank you for coming on and supporting me. I wouldn't have been able to do it without you. That's for sure.
You're the best.
Because you are my son.
Yep, you're the best. Guys, don't forget to like and subscribe. Go check out Caneswear. Phenomenal stuff. Support them. Support the greatest show on surf.shop. Anything Miami Dolphins, check it out. Don't forget to like and subscribe.
As always, remember, fins up.